everybody, it's Mike Gesowich, co-founder of Teaching.com, Typing.com, and Edutyping.com. Back with another exciting episode of our weekly show, Ask Edutyping, where we field questions from our users from all around the world, focused on teachers and students who use our products, in specific Typing.com and Edutyping. So we air every week for about 15 minutes, but if we don't get to your questions, please know that you can reach us through hashtag AskEdutyping on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So we're going to start our show this week with a typing tip, which we begin each week with. And I'm going to do a screen share today because it's a little bit difficult for me to show you visually. Typically, I'll show our tip of the week on our whiteboard behind me. But just hold on one second. I'm going to get our screen share going. Okay, so here we are at the tip of the week. First of all, this tip comes from our blog, which we update every single week. It's jam-packed with all kinds of typing tips and techniques that teachers can use to make keyboarding more interesting, engage students, and a whole bunch of learning and different pedagogies that work to really maximize the potential of students in the classroom at all different grade levels. So I really encourage you to visit our blog. If I click right here, you'll see that it was just updated with a great tip called keyboarding cryptograms, which I'm just going to review with you real quick here. So the idea of this activity, and this is all downloadable from the blog, is that you present students with a secret puzzle. And if you're not familiar with what a cryptogram is, it's basically a scramble of different letters that get decoded, and they actually will form a sentence or a variety of different words. So it's kind of like decoding a secret message. So if we take a look at this example right here on screen, you'll see that the student would begin to type all of these random letters, and then you would provide the student with a representation of what each letter is decoded as. So in this example, it says every W represents the letter S. Every E represents the letter T, forming a answer at the end of it. And you'll notice on page 2 of the activity, we provide you with 3 different puzzles, and the student is provided with different hints of what each letter would be decoded as. So it's a great offline activity that you can use where students would use a word processing program. And inside of Edutyping, we have a feature called OpenType, which serves just like a word processor. So if you have your students key that in, they'll save the assignment. They can either then print it or decode it by retyping the correct decoded letters on screen. So I encourage you to visit edutyping.com/blog, or I'm sorry, blog.edutyping.com, and there's a link right from our homepage. Download this activity and put it into use in your classroom. Your students will love it, and they'll enjoy the break that they get from using the online program itself. So each week, we take questions from our user audience, and I'm joined off screen today by my colleague, Rennie Sullivan, who is going to read this week's first question.
Thanks, Mike. Michael Lewis asks, how can I familiarize myself with a keyboard to improve my typing speed?
Great question, Mike. How can you really get better at visualizing and memorizing the keyboard? Several strategies that you can employ that will definitely help you. Number one, if there isn't one in your classroom, you can Google for and just search on keyboard, and you'll find thousands of different images that you can use and then print out, similar to this keyboarding chart that I have behind me here in my office, and use that and study that. And of course, that's not going to teach you how to type more efficiently, but it will get you more familiar with memorizing where the keys are located on the keyboard. Another strategy is if you visit our blog on Edutyping, you can actually download and print a blank keyboard, which basically has all the letters in place of where they are located, but the letters are not written on that. And what you can do is kind of think, okay, what is the home row key? And you would actually write in the letters properly, and then double check that against a real keyboard. That's a great activity. The more you do that, the better you'll become. Another strategy is to use a keyboarding cover. And what a keyboarding cover does is basically it hides the keys while you're keyboarding. You can make this out of cardboard, and they're also sold as well. I know of a really good product called the No Peek keyboard cover. And basically it will cover your keys. You put your hands underneath it, begin the keyboarding lesson. It forces you to not look at your keys while you're typing. And that's a very important tactic that you need to employ in order to memorize the keys. You would think, hey, the more I look at them, the better I'll memorize them. Now, it's certainly okay for you to look down at your keys while you're keyboarding occasionally, especially early on while you're beginning. But as time goes on, you want to really just focus on what you're typing from and not the actual keyboards. So it's more about practice and providing yourself with those visual stimulants like the keyboarding chart and the blank keyboard. Great question, Mike. So we're going to move on to our second question of the week. Ready?
Rosie Hart asks, why is my typing speed between 40 and 50 words per minute when I have been typing for the past 5 months?
Rosie, that's a question we get all the time. People reach sticking points. There's no doubt that probably when you started typing, you increased your words per minute very rapidly. But then you kind of reach what they call the plateau. And the plateau is basically your motor dexterity skills, your eye-hand coordination only gets you so far when you reach a certain point, and then progress starts to really slow down. Think about it when you played a video game. In the beginning, you can get the highest score or compete against your friends and you do really well, but you can only get so good so fast when you reach a certain point of mastery. And it sounds to me like that's where you are in the field of keyboarding. So what I would recommend is just stick to the program. Be okay with setting goals of, say, just increasing 1 or 2 words per week and try to achieve those. But just think about it. Over, say, 4 or 5 weeks, if your goal is to improve by 1 to 2 words per week, you should be able to increase yourself to, somewhere around 55 or 60 words per minute. And then again, you're going to reach a slower plateau. So it takes time, it takes patience. And again, no matter how much you type, I've been typing for years, and I still find myself falling between 80 and 90 words per minute. And you're talking, I do it consistently on a regular basis. So I think I've pretty much maximized my speed, but I'm happy with that. And as long as I maintain that, I'll be good to go for a long time with that kind of skill set. And I feel like that would be the same for you. We got time for one more question, folks. So we'll take our last question of the week. Ready?
Jonah Hamilton from Teaching.com asks, is it necessary to use both shift keys to type fast?
Is it necessary to use both shift keys to type fast? Well, first of all, the keyboard does have a left shift key and a right shift key, and the purpose of the shift key is to make capital letters versus lowercase letters. So if I wanted to, for example, type a capital L on the keyboard, I would depress the left shift key and hit the L with my right hand. Now, if I tried to do that, your question was, can I just use one of those shift keys? If I try to hold the right shift key down and depress the letter L, number one, this hand is really not even being occupied, your left hand. So number one, you definitely want to try to maximize the use of both hands because that's what we have on our human bodies. Secondly, I think it's very difficult as far as coordination goes and a much more difficult reach for you to depress the right shift key while trying to hit letters on the right-hand side of the keyboard to capitalize those. So to answer your question, if you want to increase your typing speed and maximize how many words per minute you're achieving, I would definitely recommend using both the left and right shift keys. It's why they're there. It's because we have 2 hands. It's how the eye-hand coordination and our motor dexterity skills works. So hopefully that will help you, Jonah. So great questions this week. Again, if we didn't get to them, please submit them and we will get back to you via email, and maybe we'll broadcast them live next week on our 19th episode of Ask EduType, and we're coming up on number 20, which is fantastic. We just launched this this school year, and we plan to do a whole lot more with it next school year as well. So tune in next week, folks. We'll be back for another episode. And also, again, you can reach us at #AskEduTyping through Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and hopefully you'll submit questions. We love to get them. So everybody have a great week, and I will see you when I'm looking at you next Thursday. Take care, everybody.